Hey guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to be doing a World Edit lesson on Donator Islands, so I hope you guys like it. Okay, so I am working on a Paladin Island today, which is 130 by 130. And what I usually do is start with a glass frame like this, and that'll kind of show me the borders to stay in. I always like to go around it a little bit and make sure that no donator islands are near it. If you're staff watching this, we all do donator islands different. We all have different methods. I do like to clear the water inside the border to work. It helps me see what I'm doing a little better, even though I've got night vision on. It's still a little easier. Actually, outside the border a little bit. Position 2, I'm going to do replace 8 and 9 with air. 8 and 9 is both static water and flowing water as well. That's going to take a few minutes to load. It's got a lot of water to clear, and its AWE mode is basically a way to keep the server from lagging. This size of a world edit, doing it all at once, can actually crash the server. It might not, but it would definitely lag everybody out. Since I can see my selection lines, I usually clear them out. And what I do next is start putting in the sand, which I do with both a brush and several different commands. Depends on what I feel like doing. I do usually change it up quite a bit. It adds to the originality of the island. That's the middle. First, I'm going to give myself a bit of a plateau to start with. This is going to be position 2. And I'm about at water level, which is about where I want to be. Check, yeah, 64 is one block above water level, I believe. That area should give me a fair amount of sand to start with. Replace air, sand. And that's going to replace the air blocks with sand. Just slightly less to load. And now you see it's also following the curves of the land. Now I'm going to set a brush. This is a fairly small island. This is the smallest size. This is the first donator rank level that gets an island. There's 4 different sizes going up to Immortal, which is our highest rank. I will probably just be working with mostly brush. Let me set that to brush, sphere. The item is sand, and we'll do the highest radius, which is 5 for a brush. And I'm going to mask air so that it's only going to change air blocks to sand. For this, since the changes are really small, actually going to toggle AWE off, and that way I can do this A, without getting spammed, and B, a whole lot faster because it doesn't have to load what one brush stroke is doing and before I can go on to the next. I can just start painting, basically. And I'm going to go around the entire island and do this. I've given it an interesting shape with just the brush. Now I'm going to show some other things that you can do, neat little tricks. You can use a command like cylinder, sand. Let's set the radius to 10. The nice thing is you can do any radius that you want. Unlike brushes, you're not confined to the maximum of 5. It'll help you stretch out a little bit. Let's do a radius of 20, see what that gives us. And doing a bunch of different kinds of commands will give you a much more natural look as well when you're doing an island. Because we're working with sand, the gravity will actually help you out as far as natural shapes go. You can also do a cylinder of air instead of sand. Unfortunately, unlike the brushes, you cannot mask. So let's try it on land. Cylinder 15 actually, 5 up. And that kind of took out some stuff. Let's do it again. So that'll help flatten some areas as well if you want more build space on the island for whoever is getting the island. You can kind of clear off some of the tops and give it a little bit more buildable surface. You can also set a brush to brush, cylinder, sand, 5, mask, air. and you can use that to fill in some weird gaps. You don't want to make it too flat or it'll look very unnatural. This is also what I use to give it a beach after I smooth it and give it some different shapes. And sometimes with the hills, I'll take the cylinder sand brush and I'll just kind of paint downwards like this, and it seems to give them more natural looking foothills, especially with the bigger mountains. You can see how I'm kind of curving out my brush strokes, because if I just hold it in place, well, I won't go anywhere if it's just on a flat surface, because it's only one block high, which you can change, by the way. If I go back to it and say I need a height of 5, you can specify the radius 5, which is your first number, and the height 5, which is the second number. And now, if I click that block, suddenly I have a 5 block high cylinder. That can help for some things. I never use it because it's too perfect. I like my shapes more natural. So I'm going to undo 2, back to the original brush, or just do that. I'm going to keep giving it foothills. I just got quite a bit done with the brush that I last left off on, and made quite a bit different shape. I brought it out a little bit because it seemed like it was a little small. But once we get done, once it's all smoothed out and everything, it should be quite a good size. There's a snake in my boot. This is probably a good point to smooth. So I'm going to take it from the lowest point I can inside my border. Alright, I think that's high enough. I didn't make any very high mountains. Usually I make them a little higher than this, but make all the islands different. And now that that's selected, I'm going to double check that AW toggle is on. It was not, because I was working with a brush. // smooth, and what I normally set it at is usually about a 4. And there we go. Now I'm not going to deselect just yet. I'm going to go ahead and keep my selection because it's easier than racing all over the island, especially when you do an immortal island, which is I think twice this size. I'm going to keep the selection, and I'm going to change the sand to stone. Replace sand stone. And you can do block ID numbers, you don't have to do the names. I kind of seem to go in between both. Just whatever I can think of faster is the key for me. And now it's changing only the sand to stone. Brush, sill, air. Let's make it only about a radius of 3. I'm going to take the mask off, and I think I'm going to put it, let's put a waterfall here and put a little pool right there. And now I'm going to naturalize, if I can spell it right. Now that I've naturalized, let's put dirt and grass block on top of any stone. I can adjust the selection so that I'm right at water level and give myself a beach that's 1 block below my glass. I can get rid of that. And I'm going to go replace 2, 3 with 12. 2 and 3 is dirt and grass block, and 12 is sand. And that gives me my beach. Well, mostly. We don't really have beaches yet. So, deselect so I can see what I'm doing. Reset my brush to cylinder sand 5, mask air again, and give it a nice little beach right at the water level. And you can make it a little bit more like vanilla Minecraft. What you can do to make it more jagged, have the sand come up a couple levels here and there, is do another smooth. Is a good range for smoothing the sand up into the dirt, and that should give you 2 or 3 different layers that alternate with sand. So this is a nice beach. It's going to wrap around the entire island. I'm not clicking, I'm actually just holding my brush down and letting the sand fall, which unfortunately will really screw up your undos if you need to undo it all, because this is working itself very quickly. And I had an oopsie with my brush setting, so I'm going to replace near, let's do a radius of 10 so that we don't get too close to our beaches. Replace sand with air // green. 20, and within a radius of 20 it'll green up those dirt blocks. Now I can continue. This is where I chose to put the start of my waterfall that's going to come down and feed into the heart-shaped water, which I hope if a guy is getting this he doesn't mind the little touch of femininity. Maybe he won't. And my pet is in the way, like usual. Yes, I have a snowman called Marshmallow. What I do for waterfalls usually is I will break blocks until I get about a good way down. I give it a channel to flow into so there's a controlled flow. Let's make it go down this way once, this way again. So now it should trickle down into the water. I'm going to set my replacer tool to water, which is 9. And I'm just going to click this one block. All I have to do to stimulate it to flow is place a block near it or in front of it, and now it goes. It flows, it goes. So now we have a waterfall. And I might do another one of those waterfalls over here. Just a little straight one. Change that. And there we go. I think right here would be good. Change that block to water and let it flow. And it's a nice little waterfall. Alright, that's done. Now I think I'm going to give it a small little cave. And there's many different ways you can do caves. I'm going to do a couple different things. First I'm going to set my brush to an airbrush. Let's do cylinder, air. Let's make it 3 wide and 3 tall. Yeah, let's go in about here. And you can kind of go nuts. I like the cylinder brush, and we just cut out the other side, which was an accident at first, but this kind of looks cool. It's a nifty little cave, which we don't do much of on the smaller islands. On the bigger islands they get caves, and sometimes they even get floating islands. So I'm going to do line. It's just line, and then I'm going to make it air. I'm going to make it 5. There's a similar one that I use. You have to change your selection type. So hold your wand and do cell convex. And I'm going to do 4 positions altogether. And then I'm going to do curve. I want it to be made of air, and I'm going to do a radius of 3. There's always undo, but that gives you an idea. I think we're almost done. I'm going to fix water in a radius of 10. And I can keep spamming that. All I'm doing is hitting my up arrow to remember my last command. Alright, I think that is all of the water. So this is what a completed island would look like. This is a little bit bigger. I think this is the immortal size or close to it. I think this is my tropical skin. There's different skins for them. And no, it does not come with the ship, though I do sell that ship in my warehouse. I made it a long time ago. These are the different skins that you can get applied to the island. And some of these are custom skins that we came up with on our own. This is one of my favorites. I have done a whole city in this, and it's called Hallowed. Asiatic, Rainbow, I don't remember what I named this one. Magic Mesa. There's all kinds of different ones. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. I will be doing another video soon covering how to do all of the flora, the trees and the grass and all of the smaller features that overlay on top of the island. See you later guys.